Hey everyone, welcome back to my workshop. It's so great to have you here, have you joining me for this exhaust design welding adventure. This is new to me. This is my first exhaust system that I'm building. You know, I first built the turbo kit for my Camaro. Since it's a rear mount turbo, I basically just had to replace the muffler with a turbo. So it's something very simple. Now I'm building a full header back exhaust. I'm not manufacturing the headers, but everything back is being built by me. So a little bit about this car. You know, I know I'm showing you how to basically build a rear mount turbo kit. Now this turbo kit is unlike anything you've ever seen, I guarantee it. I removed the spare tire. You see guys hide nitrous bottles back there. Well, I gutted kind of all that area, took the brackets out, and that's where my turbo sitting. I have a GT45 80 millimeter. It's an 8083 stuffed in there. It's a tight squeeze. My new comp turbo, a lot more compact design, so it's going to fit in there a little nicer. I'm sure I can make the best of the room that I have. The engine, it's a 383 LT1 still. A lot of people, oh my God, you're building these LT1s. It's old technology, but you see guys with small block Chevys, that's basically the same thing as the LT1, but a fuel injected. It's reverse cooling. There's a lot of positives to this motor that people have pushed away because the LS is so much easier, and it is. The LS is a better motor. It's lighter. Its head design is better. It's easier to make the power. Parts are cheaper. You see people just selling, junkyard motors for stupid cheap these days. This is what came in this car. You know, when I built this motor, I bought everything used. I didn't have a big budget. I bought the short block used. I took it all apart, put new rings and bearings on the rods and pistons that were in it, slapped it back together. So it's a 383. It's got forged rods, pistons, crank. It's a scat rods, SRP pistons, kind of a JE's other brand. It's running a Holley HP system, new Holley EFI system, which is, I'll tell you what, I was tuning this thing when I first, so this engine's been through 2 superchargers. It had a Vortec V1, it had a Vortec YSI, which was pretty stout, but I wasn't happy with the quality, the belt slip, and the supercharger ended up exploding maybe within 10,000 miles. And I was making 18 PSI, and I've never seen a dyno, so I don't know how much horsepower it's making, but it ended up exploding. So I was kind of turned off by the quality of it. The gearbox came apart. There's always belt slipping. I'm trying to pulley down. I'm trying to do everything I can to make boost. So I went with turbo. After that, I built this weird turbo kit running the exhaust all the way back. Now I live in California, so I got to always worry about cops, smog, that kind of stuff. So I hid the turbo. It's got a hidden turbo system. So this is the new comp turbo I just purchased. It's a 7875. Again, this is a rear mount turbo, so having the smaller exhaust turbine is going to help this spool up quickly and more efficiently. Another thing is this is their triple ceramic ball bearing. It's a patented design. You can only get this with the comp turbos. That's one of the main reasons I went with this. They also do their oilless or oil design. So this is oil only. The oilless allows you to mount your turbo so you don't have to worry about the flow. You can mount your turbo in a vertical position, air coming in from the top, exiting out the bottom. Really, your options are limitless with the oilless system. I went with the oil only because I already have an oil line adapted back there where my old turbo is, so I thought it'd just be real simple to unbolt the T4 flange, bolt this guy on, a little bit of piping, and be done. So I've already started this project. This is before I started my YouTube account. I started working on this. So I'm going to take it off because I have to modify a few things. One of the things I need to add, and it didn't really dawn on me until I was talking with my father, when the engine block heats up, it's going to expand. It wants to pull your headers apart, and you'll see things like this a lot, especially on turbo cars, where your exhaust is going to get real hot. But it's an accordion, so this goes in the exhaust. So when there's heat and the block expands and that kind of stuff, this will actually allow your headers to move away from each other. So this is going to go in between. I haven't really decided where it's going to be mounted. I'm thinking somewhere in between, obviously, but maybe right under the oil pan, just depending on how much room I have. 2.5-inch diameter. Another one that I needed to add is this is going to allow it to have a little bit of rotation, a little bit of flex. If everything's solid mounted going all the way back to my turbo, that's going to cause cracks, leaks, broken welds, things like that, broken mounts. So the engine rocking, if you have everything in the back mounted solid where the turbo's mounted, it's going to cause issues. So this is going to go in line just after I merge the 2.5-inch pipes into a 3-inch. This will go in line. This will allow the engine to rock, but have everything after that mounted fairly solid. So I will have some rubber insulating pads and things like that, but any engine movement is not going to be transferred over to where the turbo's at. So here it is. It's the driver's side, passenger side, the merge. I didn't build this merge. That's a Vibrant piece. But I built everything else. Trying my hand at doing some pie cuts. Let's get the correct angles. The only logical place I can see to add this unit is right there. So I'm going to mark and cut a small section out and add that in there. Man, it's going to be close. I hope it clears the oil pan. I can be close to the oil pan, just can't be touching the oil pan. So we'll see what I can do. Okay, so I'm getting all set up, getting my saw set up. I'm trying to move the saw to an area where I'm not going to create too much dust. Usually I do all my metal chopping because I have an abrasive saw outside on the driveway. I can blow the metal filings or sweep it or anything. It's easier. It doesn't get all over everything. But it's pouring rain. It's in November, a couple days before Thanksgiving. So I am trying to set up a place right now where I can do some chopping and not cover my car or get metal filings, shavings inside the turbo and that kind of stuff. So anytime you're doing any abrasive cutting or if it's a sawzall, something like that, be mindful of where those filings are going. If any of that gets inside your engine, if you're building a motor or something like that, that could be the end of the motor real fast. So just be mindful of those type of things. If you don't have a dedicated room, I know some shops, I'm obviously just working in my garage, some shops have a sanding, cutting, filing room. So a closed off room away from the rest of the shop, just to be extra cautious. So that's what I'm working on right now, is to try to find a place to move my saw where I'm not going to get the metal all over everything else. So I go underneath the car for a test fit, and sure enough, that accordion piece is hitting the oil pan. What I need to do is move, this is going to be mounted on the header, need to move this section kind of up and over. So I'm going to put a little pie cut in here, just bend it over. It shouldn't impede the flow too much or at all. I think it'll still keep everything fairly even. So I'm going to try that and we'll see how it goes. All right, so I cut a small section out of this pipe. I'm going to be able to bend it over. I left the back attached still, so I'll be able to bend it over, throw a tack on it, and see how close I am. So I'm not happy with this. This isn't, it's not coming out the way. I need it to do a kind of weird bend. It needs to come up and over. So this is not coming out like I want. This is not up to my standard. This is just, it's just not good. Not what I wanted, so I'm gonna take a step back and rethink how I can make this better. Okay, so I thought about it. To reference Alex Steele, he always said, don't cut corners, do it right the first time. Your name's on this. This, when people see this car, if I'm out racing, whatever, oh cool. So, this turbo system's rare. People don't do these kind of things, so they're gonna ask who built it. I want to be able to say I built it, and not people look at it and be like, oh man, look at the janky welds. Look at, I don't want people to be able to talk bad about it. If I can do better, I'm gonna do better. So I'm gonna make a whole bunch of pie cuts, 7-degree angle pie cuts. I'm not great at making these because I have a abrasion, friction disc saw. I need a nice chop saw, Bailey, hey, sponsor me. Nice Bailey bandsaw would be great. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do the best I can with what I have. So I'm going to make a handful of these things. I'd say probably 10, 12 of them, and I will be able to make the angles I need, make it all smooth, make sure there's no interference with the oil pan or the K-member or anything along those lines. So I feel like if I can do better, I will do better. So I'm going to work on making those right now, then see what we can do about getting this driver's side pipe come down and meet up with that accordion piece. Okay, so I have all these, I don't really know how many I did, but pie cuts. So if you see, it's kind of shaped a piece of pie. These are 7-degree. The nice thing, I put my gloves on because my old abrasion chop saw leaves these nasty burrs on them. That's why having a bandsaw would be so nice. Especially automatic feed, a little coolant, it's just clean, nice cuts, eliminates not all of it, but 95% of this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have to spend the next, half hour cleaning all these burrs off of these. So I have all the pie cuts cut
and cleaned up. Takes a little bit, with the saw I have. A lot of people have these saws. A lot of people use these type of saws, and they just got to deal with the mess they make. The dust, everything. But you can see the pie cuts. They're real nice because now that's cleaned up. You can see how I can make a straight pipe if I wanted to. Obviously, I wouldn't make pie cuts if I wanted a straight pipe, but any angle I want. So if I needed to just change one of these, or something along these lines, you start making curves, bends. You see, let me stack a few of these together for you. Push my luck with 5. I'm going to drop one. So, I don't know how well you can see that, but you can see how you can start getting a pretty nice bend. The only downside is the amount of welding you have to do. I rather enjoy welding, so these aren't too painful for me. Can't really hold them, but I made a handful. I'm thinking that this, actually there's even one more back here. This should all be enough to do any weird curves, bends, everything, and get rid of this. This is not top quality. This is my first time. This is kind of, I'm learning, I'm adapting, I'm overcoming. If you like what you're seeing on this channel, please please subscribe. The more subscribers I have, it shows support, it motivates me to try harder, get more involved in doing these videos. It takes a long time to set up cameras, that kind of stuff slows things down. So if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, please shoot me a comment, like the video, and I'll be sure to keep making quality videos for you, doing the best I can with the editing, and at my skill set, I'll do the best I can. I appreciate it. Until next time.